It is not like we're in Shaker Heights or any place like that. We were in Cleveland, Ohio, between Superior and St. Clair. The Wallace's journey started in a small town called Sturgis, Kentucky. My mother and her siblings all left Kentucky in the 50s. I was born in 1956, and probably by September of 56, my family arrived in Cleveland. My early remembering of Cleveland, we lived on Addison Road, and that's down by Wade Park. During those times, I started at Wade Park Elementary School, which is on 79th and Wade Park. I really had some bad times in my early schooling. And I like to say this, as the Jeffersons, we moved up to Star Avenue and we bought our first house, 7508 Star. We didn't have to go nowhere for nothing. And we walked to school. But one thing about living on Star, the next street to the south was Decker. If we lived on Decker, we could go to Wade Park. But we lived on Star, and that was like the borderline. And we had to go to a school called Hough. And Hough was maybe 2 blocks from St. Clair to the north. And during that time, we got chased home in the evenings by white people. And you would think we were down south, but we were in Cleveland, Ohio. They were probably in the same boat we are, but they didn't think that. They were struggling people, working hard people, but they had this gang called the Little Rascals. And they used to ride mini bikes and homemade mini bikes. They had the like the Hell Angels, they had the little jean jackets with Little Rascals on the back. And they used to chase us basically on Fridays. As the years progressed and we got to the 5th and 6th grade and the boys got a little older, we had sticks and clubs that we hide in the bushes and fought them back. They didn't want us in their neighborhood. It is not like we're in Shaker Heights or any place like that. We were in Cleveland, Ohio, between Superior and St. Clair. I remember one time it was myself, Andrew, Lindsay, James Taylor. We went to the library, and I hate to say it, but the library was in their neighborhood between 79th and Superior and 79th and St. Clair. And they chased us home. And I want to say they got Andrew and was kind of trying to beat him down a little bit. But then me and James went back and tried to snatch him back, and we did. So they didn't really hurt him. It's a joke now, 30, 40 years later. We always talk about it when we always get together. That's just some of the things that the Black families went through that lived in our neighborhood that went to this particular school. Back in the day, we had stores on the corner, and going to school, they had a couple of stores that we'll stop and get candy and stuff on our way to school. And I know one of the stores, I think the owners lived upstairs, and the little girl called me an N-word. I think I hit her, and her brother chased me to school. They reported me. The principal got me out of class, asked me what happened. I told them what happened, and I had to take a couple of swats. In those days, it wasn't uncommon to get swats in school. Going to Hodge, it was a good and bad situation, but once we were in school, we got really good teaching it and stuff like that. When we lived on Addison before we moved to Star, that's when they had the Hough riots. I can remember the National Guard walking down our streets on both sides of the street with their rifles, with bayonets like they were in Vietnam, which was the Vietnam era. They were in our neighborhoods like they were at war. It wasn't uncommon to see an APC, which is basically a tank without a gun on it, rolling down the street like they were at war. I was excited to see the tanks, and during those days, I really wasn't mentally up on why all this uprising and and all of that back in the day. Before busing, we went to school in groups. We walked to elementary school. We walked to junior high school. We walked to high school. High school was just down the street from us. You know, I stopped by Mikey Taylor, and as we progressed our way to school, we stopped by different houses, picking up our friends, and we all went to school as a group, and we came home as a group, laughing and joking, and sometimes running for our lives when they ready to chase us. But it was a little bit more of a community tightness when everybody knew everybody. And I don't know so much about the busing, but I think all the kids kind of scattered and they don't know each other as they did back in my day. Here I am, right here with my afro and game going on. The guy to my left, Michael Turner, I met him in Addison Junior High School, and me and him have been lifelong buddies ever since. He passed away a couple of years ago. Me and him ran track, and that's another thing. Being in Cleveland Public Schools, sometimes we as young black guys can get in with the wrong group. And for a while, I was that person. I was with the wrong group. In junior high school, I met guys like Michael Turner, Ronnie Hunter, and those guys were playing organized sports, which was kind of new for me because I just ran with the guys. And so I left my friends that I grew up with and started hanging out with, as they say now, the jocks. I started running track probably in the 7th grade, and I have to tell you, playing sports changed my whole life. It got me from running with the thugs, as they call them today, to running with guys that were trying to do something with their lives. To play sports back in those days, you had to have a certain grade average or you could not play. So that actually helped me to concentrate on my schooling. East High was another community school that was close, and everybody, this was before busing. So we all walked to East High. We had good times.